Want to feed green or blue bottle flies to your inverts? Not sure how to go about it? Watch this video for some tips on how to manage them. Hello everyone and welcome back to Spooderpods. I'm David and today we are talking about green and blue bottle fly live food. A lot of people are put off by feeding them because it feels a bit more involved and a bit scary. I know I was for a little while, but I've found lately it's not that hard and it's very, very easy. If you like my sort of content, please do like this video, please do comment, subscribe. It does help the channel, especially with YouTube the way it is right now. So the first thing you want to consider is why would you actually want to feed green or blue bottle flies? And the answer is simple. They're quite nutritious, they're very good for your animals, and they encourage them to hunt as well. If you've got jumping spiders, even tarantulas, as long as you maybe hobble them a little bit, or mantids, they really benefit from this kind of live food. And it's a great alternative to feeding crickets, which, as many of us are discovering, do come with some pitfalls unless you breed your own. Now the best way to source green or blue bottle flies is via pupae. A lot of sellers will sell them in their pupae state, and that is the easiest and best form to get them in, believe you me. You'll get like a vial or a dish containing a good 50 to 150 depending on what size you buy, and then it's up to you to put them in the right situation to hatch. Now before you get them out or do anything with them, pop them in the fridge temporarily while you get prepared and get some mini sort of food containers, the sort of things you'd put maybe sauces in. Some people call them deli cups, some people call them just mini food containers, some people call them storage containers, whatever. And I'll put a little example on the screen now of what I'm talking about because they're very, very handy. These are going to be your little fly cultivation areas, so to speak. And what you want to do to prepare them is puncture some holes in the lid, either with a pin, a hot pin, whatever you want to do, as long as there's no escape routes, but so there's actually some airflow in there so they don't suffocate. Now here's the other important step a lot of people miss when they're doing this sort of thing, and that is giving them some sort of food. Now the best recommendation I've heard repeatedly is something like a dried fruit or raisin. What you do with a raisin, you just cut it in half, a bit of other dried fruit's completely fine, and pop it in there. That way it can stay in there for the duration basically of that container's lifespan before you empty it out eventually and get rid of it once they're all eaten. And that provides them a food source, a nice high sugary food source, so they have something to eat in there, and it's also good for their welfare because if their welfare is better, so is your invert's diet. So once you've prepared your containers, I normally recommend about 6 to 7 if you've got about 100 pupae, because you don't want them all hatching at once, so you need to prepare them very carefully. Once you've got your containers ready, the next thing you want to do is portion out your pupae. So get them out of the vial and put approximately 10 to 15 in each container. And it's really important that you don't put too many in there, because if you have loads, it's going to be difficult to manage, and then you'll waste some as well, and it's not good for anyone. The next step, once you've got them all portioned, you've got your raisin or your dried fruit in there, just pop the lids on and then you put them all in the fridge. This way you will sort of slow down the pupae process where they'll hatch, and it means they'll last longer, and then you will have a supply for longer. What you do is just keep one outside, out and about. You can keep it in a slightly warmer environment depending on how quickly you want them to hatch. We normally just keep them on top of our fridge because it's slightly warmer there and it's next to all the other live food we keep. And this way, the ones you've kept out of the fridge will hatch a bit quicker, they'll be ready, while the ones in the fridge are saved for later and you can get them ready. The other really important thing you want to provide for your flies is some water. We use a little pipette dropper and just open up the lid a little bit and portion some water in there. It's again something they need. Once they've got the dried fruit and water, they will survive a fairly decent amount of time and they'll be healthier and happier in there. You know, you want them to have the airflow, the water and the food, because it just feels cruel otherwise, and even though they're live food, you just want to give the best welfare because again, it benefits your inverts ultimately. After this, when you're ready to feed them, and a few of the pupae have hatched, it can take a few days sometimes, just keep an eye on them. You're ready to feed. It's going to be a trouble. You're probably thinking, oh my goodness, how am I going to get them out without them flying everywhere? And that's really simple. You just need to pop them in the freezer. Generally about 3 to 5 minutes is enough. Set yourself a time if you don't want to forget, because you'll kill them and you'll harm the other pupae. And then after that period, they'll be quite dopey, or they'll just be basically sleeping. So at that point, you can pull them out and you can put them in your inverts enclosures. One tip here is be careful not to put water in before you freeze, because that water will freeze and it will sometimes freeze the flies to the container. That will kill them, or it will cause all sorts of other issues. So make sure if you provide them water, you let it dry off before you freeze, or maybe you mop it up, whatever you want to do. It's just something we've noticed, and it's not something anyone else really covers so far in these videos. So that's basically it. Make sure you've got super suitable small containers. Keep the ones you don't want to hatch quickly in the fridge. Keep the ones you do want to hatch quicker outside the fridge. Not every pupae will hatch, so don't be scared or worried if some of them don't hatch. You know, you just want to get the best of what you've got. If they don't hatch after a while, you can chuck them out and then feed away. And all our inverts seem to benefit from it. They enjoy eating a bit of more diversity in their diet, because diversity in diet is key for all of us and it's really enriching. If you found this video helpful, please feel free to comment down below. Love to hear from you. If you have any other videos you want to hear about live food or in general, love to hear from you there too. But in the meantime, from me and my little invert swarm, take care and see you later.